Welcome to the Future Pulse podcast, where we dive into the world of innovation and technology. My name is Melica, and I'm the founder and director of SkillTalk, which is a global AI tech recruitment company operating across the globe. Today, I have with me the lovely Eleanor, who is the head of people and culture at Shippy Pro. Absolute pleasure to have you on here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Pleasure's all mine.
Likewise. Well, you're currently leading people and culture at Shippy Pro, but based on our conversation, we've spoken quite a few times. You're passionate about empowering women. So am I, actually. But can you kind of share what first sparked the interest for you?
Well, for sure, it's probably a matter of my family, let's say so, meaning that my grandma was an archaeologist and anthropologist, and she actually opened doors in spaces where women were actually rare. And my mom almost shared let's say, a similar bold path. So I grew up with those examples, and this made making space for others feel normal, let's say so.
Oh, that's lovely. That's a really good story, actually. And then was there sort of like a specific moment or experience that sort of made you realize how important representation in tech really is? Because like from what I see, I think we still got a long way to go. There's been massive improvements, but yeah, we're still far along.
Well, yeah, absolutely. This reminds me of a time in which I was interviewing a student. This girl, she didn't see herself in tech. And she told me that it had taken almost 10 years for her to find the courage to apply for a tech class. And
Ooh.
since that, well, she was then looking for an internship. And I was at my previous company back then. And when he mentioned that we had about 30% women at that time, her eyes lit up. And then I let her meet our two of our women engineers. And then the story changed. Then I realized that talent wasn't the issue. It was just visibility.
Wow. And you're based in Italy, aren't you?
I am. I
Yeah.
am.
So what does sort of the local context look like when it sort of comes to women in tech at the moment?
Well, let's say it's shifting. It means that we'll still have a lot of work to do. But schools, companies, and well, like also probably communities. Yeah, if I think of Girls Get It Better, which we talked about previously, they're putting more real programs on the table. And so there is more, let's say, early exposure and visible role models that make a difference. And like, for example, here at Shippy Pro, women make up about 50% of our team today.
Oh,
So
that's
it's huge.
amazing. That's
Yeah,
really good
it
representation.
is. It
That's
is.
all, it's all down to you.
Excuse me?
It's all down to you, I think.
No, no, no. It was already so, but we kept it. We kept the numbers.
That's so nice. And you've been involved in quite a few sort of societies or clubs, haven't you, whether it comes to girls in tech?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about that and what that initiative is about.
Well, one is what we've spoke about, which is Girls Got It Better, but I'm also part of the Seroptimus International. Seroptimus is a global network that turns good intentions, let's say, into a real project for women and girls. Education, opportunity, confidence, and that taught me how to move from talk to action. Then again, Girls Got It Better. That led me to Girls Got It Better. Back then, I was working at my previous company in which we sponsored this club. It's a national, after here in Italy, a national after school program where girls from those clubs pick problems that they care about and start building things. That could be
Mhm.
apps, robotics, design, AR. And it's not just learn to code, but learn to try, team up, and ship something, and then do something that you're proud of.
That's really good. And that's actually so great that you're kind of bringing girls together and kind of giving them the confidence and encouragement to kind of go outside their norms and also learn something which is super, super impactful, especially right now when it comes to the world of innovation and AI.
Absolutely, yeah, it
Yeah.
it is.
And is there any sort of moments or any stories that have sort of stayed with you when you've done these workshops?
Well, for sure, the output of that club we sponsored with my previous company, those girls, they chose a topic that they deeply cared about, and it was ending violence against women. So, an amazing topic. Well, let's say it's super important topic. And they ended up designing this simple game that helped girls and boys spot a risky situation in everyday life. And they built, and obviously the aim was building awareness about this.
Mhm.
So, well, I remember that they started super shy, and then step by step, they broke the idea into small pieces that actually became wins. So on our side, we offered them roles, like we taught them that they could be like designers, storytellers, coders. And so everybody had to find a way in. And this way we found out that confidence showed up and they made what they did.
Oh, that's amazing. You mentioned, actually, let me dial back a bit. So, how do you sort of feel technology can be accessible rather than sort of intimidating for young girls? Because I think if I was younger and I imagine myself doing computer science, I'd be like, that's too difficult for me. Like, I wouldn't have had the courage to do it. So, I'm sure a lot of girls will probably feel like that. So, how do you, yeah, make them feel confident in
Well,
using
those
that?
opportunities are a great thing, and meeting women who are already working in tech are is something that really can help. And then again, trying hands-on projects and keep everything open, meaning that we need teachers and parents cheering from the sidelines. We need girls and everybody to keep being curious and ambitious and try and trying to explore whatever the world offers in order to find themselves and reach out also to technology, because technology isn't that far away from us. It's just here with us every single day.
Mhm.
So we need to leverage from it and not fear it.
Yeah. I mean, still though, what do you think holds them back apart from just fearing, in terms of their mentor in the space?
I believe it's probably about stereotypes, role models, and I'd say also like school choices that probably narrows the path too soon. This is why I was saying that if they had met, or if they meet right now a real woman in tech early, as we did with Girls Could It Better, then and they tried hands-on project, they would like approach this industry, let's say so, in a better way.
Yeah. Well, let's go to Shippy Pro where you work then. So you're leading people and culture across a very diverse international team. So how does sort of working with such a diverse group shape your approach to culture and inclusion?
Well, we keep it simple. Our motto is make people work better, and that's it. So, what we do is we celebrate curiosity, learnings from mistakes, which are so important, and a big heart of teamwork. So, in practice, that this means that written decision, clear ownership, and remote friendly rhythms or application also doesn't decide who gets heard. We try to add proposeful in-person meetups for connection, and because we actively encourage cross-pollination and we truly believe in this, everyone influenced the product and the team. So I remember, like, for example, I joined because it might be a bit a lot. I said a lot of things, but I remember that when I joined Shippy Pro, it was in between Series A and B, and it was a time of change. Meaning that, as you know, that people don't naturally love change.
Yeah.
And obviously, my role was to leave several shifts, like policies, like ways of working, and obviously, this all comes back to culture. So what we did was that we needed to keep growing steadily. And that's when we realized that clear communication and consistency did the heavy lifting. So this is why I was saying that location isn't something that decides who gets heard, because everybody gets listened here. And meaning that written decisions, clear ownership, being accountable for what we do is what makes Shibi Pro work in this diversity that we live in.
Right. And again, I'm sure a lot of people in the company probably speak multiple languages, they come from different backgrounds, different cultures. How do you make sure that everyone feels equally included and heard?
We always go back to communication, listening, and giving context. So let's start from the fact that we listen on a cadence, meaning that we have EMPS. And by the way, I was telling you when the moment I joined Shippy Pro, EMPS was quite low, and now it like quintuplicated since
Right.
that. It's been 1 year and a half, a bit more. So yeah, we do listen. EMPS surveys, open Q&A, and we keep growth practical with a career growth program and company classes that could be starting from languages, leadership, AI, and obviously we also have then personal training bonuses, etc. So it all comes like to this. We also have programs like shadowing. It's just about sitting with one another and with someone from another team and see what they do, how they work. Then we have other activities that might sound a bit more probably shallow, but they're actually super effective, which is we have the shipping day. It's a
Right.
day in which everybody actually ships a parcel, a real parcel, in order to understand how the platform works. And I'm not just talking about engineering, but my team, finance team, everybody. And then obviously we have tunnels twice a year and customer visits in order to keep everybody together and align with the context and the goals we are aiming for.
Amazing. And out of everything that you've just said in terms of the needle and inclusion, what do you think really, truly works best in moving the needle around that?
Communication.
Yeah.
Listening. Well, let's say that for sure transparency, because if you want to be consistent, like if you want to be listening and if you want to communicate correctly, you obviously need to be consistent with what you say and what you do. So that's main pillar for us. Therefore, transparency, as you can see also from our website, we have our salaries out in the blue. So we build a salary simulator and everybody knows about it. So transparency, like I took this as an example, but everything we do is in order to give context, a transparent context for everybody that works here at Shippy Pro in order to have a goal to get to. Then again, obviously, if I think of what moves the needle, it's also our managers. Our managers hold a treasure, which is people. So we coach for listening. We coach for have them have fair meetings, real sponsorships, because like we always say that inclusion shows up or disappears in weekly rituals. And this also reminds me of something I personally do with my team. So we have a few monthly rituals that are one, it's start, stop, continue feedback loop
Mhm.
in which the whole team prepares feedback for everybody,
Right.
me included. And obviously, I'm always the first one to receive feedback. I couldn't grow without it, and obviously, I want to set the example. So I'm always the first one to receive feedback. Then, when we don't do start, stop, continue feedback loop, we have a second one, which is truth or dare, obviously company topics only. And it's a candid space to ask the hard questions. And obviously, well, the purpose or propose small experiment, like I'm thinking of their part. And this helps to keep everyone close to the big picture and the context, obviously. So
Right.
let's say that at Shippy Pro, feedbacks shape the outcome.
Got you. So I always ask my guests this question around fear of AI stealing jobs. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, when we spoke about it, I told you that it happens if you let it.
Yeah.
So yeah, AI can either flatten roles or boost them. So if we treat it like a cheap code machine, we get average results. When instead, when we use it as a thinking partner to frame problems, compare options, or check our work, we level up. I'm going to quote my COO because he said the other day, he said it really well. He said something like, the gap isn't better prompts, is better problem framing. which is the key. And this is why I was saying earlier that we also have an AI masterclass in our learning and training projects for engineers, focused obviously on system thinking, not
Mm.
problems.
Right. So, last but not least, what is the one thing you wish more companies understood about building inclusive cultures in technology?
Well, let's go. Could you repeat the question?
Yeah. So, what's the one thing you wish more companies understood about building inclusion cultures in tech, especially around women as well?
Well, it's again, I believe it's always everything. It's always about communication and context.
Hmm.
So, if you give context, you could inspire young women or whomever to be curious and not fear what we're actually talking about. So, if you start being curious, you probably start looking at a problem, not at the simple tool.
Yeah.
So it's just like looking stuff from the other way around. Like getting comfortable with technology is the key. Like it's not a tool. It's something you can leverage. So it's a way of life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. It was really, really useful insight and actually great to speak to another empowered woman as well.
Thank you.